at times about Chris Freeman's past, and you and I disagree on whether we should talk about his past, because I'm not big in that, and you think it's relevant.
I think it's relevant to what he's doing right now. I think it shows a long history.
He has a history of some legal challenges. And of course, I'm a forgiving guy, and if someone has legal challenges in their background, I don't care. Believe me, I see rehab in a lot of people. I see a lot of things that maybe someone does in the past that they don't repeat in the future. But this may show a trend. Don't know. But he's had other charges against him and some convictions, and yes. He's got other litigation going on for
lots of litigation
for other stuff. So. Maybe when we put him as a monopoly out here, we should just make sure, and we need to be more publicly about it, like, are we doing the right things? Now, he's running a great FBO. I like what he's done. I think it's beautiful. I think the gas prices have been what they've been advertised to be. They've been fair. Yeah. Everything's been fair. The service has been excellent. I like the people that are out there. So I have never found fault with Millionaire at all, except that now they're suing.
The way they came in here, you have to go back to that.
But that's not their fault. That's the airport authority fault. Just for the same reason I don't like the Occupy movement. The Occupy movement's going after Wall Street, which I think is ridiculous. Nothing Wall Street's doing is improper. They say, well, it's greed because you're making money. Well, I think there's some things improper that are going on, but it centers around Washington. It centers around the policymakers. It centers around those that have done the crony capitalism and the favors and all that. Well, I think the same at the airport. I don't think it centers around Millionaire. I think it centers around the airport authority for making the deals that have given them a monopoly.
For allowing it to
happen, because
to get to this.
That board should have control, and that airport authority should have control, and we shouldn't be out of control right now with lawsuits flying around.
Too many lawsuits. Way too many lawsuits.
People being threatened to be evicted, and then we have the haves and the have-nots that fly airplanes. You fly airplanes. You own an airplane, sitting out there. You were told by the airport authority you no longer can drive your car up to your airplane to unload luggage because you're a security risk. Because we have to have they didn't call you a security risk. They said we need more security, and so anyone that has an airplane tied down away from the hangars is no longer allowed to
as
drive
of August
their car.
3rd, I can no longer drive to my airplane.
But
now, other people on the airport are still allowed,
which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. The only difference they have between you and them is they can afford, and I'm assuming that you must be like the rest of Middle America.
Well, I could afford a hangar too. I choose not to have a hangar.
You choose not to have a hangar at an extra starting entry fee of $350 a month or so.
Up to $1,000 a month, I think, for the most expensive hangar.
It says, so if you're a high roller, and what do they call that? I say high roller.
Well, Craig Williams, the airport director, defined those people as high-level tenants.
If you're a high-level tenant, all of a sudden we will anoint you as not a security risk because you got $300 a month. You're not a security risk. You can continue to drive your car, even though it's within a few feet of where you park your car. You're not park your plane. You're not allowed to drive your car because your plane's a few feet away from theirs. And the only difference is they pay more money, so they're not a security risk. It's a ridiculous concept. It's horrible. And they don't like us talking about it, but they've tried to cater to high rollers, and I think all should be treated the same. They all should be treated the same.
It's a public airport.
It's a public airport. It's for the high rollers. It's for the mom and pops. It's for the guy that's proud of his airplane that wants to be able to drive out there and take care of it. All the same, if the security is such that it's deemed that no cars are available or no cars should be allowed on, then everyone should be equal. We're all pilots. We're all aircraft owners. It shouldn't be we're going to choose a few and we're going to separate the owners into haves and have-nots. That's ridiculous. Well, the airport authority's behind that. I don't like it. The airport authority's been behind the Millionaire monopoly, which I don't like. It's not about Millionaire. I don't care about Millionaire. I think they do a great job. Just like the Occupy Wall Street guys are going after Wall Street. I think it's misguided. I think they should be going after the authority. The authority's in Washington. The authority at the airport is at the boardroom. And they're going to meet Tuesday.
4 p.m., I believe.
At 4. And part of the agenda items is what are we going to do about people talking bad about us? Well, here's what you do. I already got it figured out. You don't even have to have a meeting. Stop doing stuff that causes it. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. And if you get a gadfly like Jack Kretzer, which we don't have at the airport authority, I think it's all legitimate concerns. But if there is a gadfly, then you just put up with it. You're a public entity.
Yeah, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Well, obviously the heat's coming because there's good reason. The heat's coming because they're out of control.
And they think it's one person. They think we're going to sue this one guy.
Well,
they shut his website down and shut him up.
They come down so heavy.
But they don't understand that's a lot of people.
But now the airport authority's not suing them at this point.
They're contemplating it.
Okay, it's Millionaire that's doing that.
Millionaire has sued him in Arizona and Ohio.
Really?
Chris Freeman has now sued Joe Gomez, that owned the spokesman for the Yuma Airport Watchdog website in Ohio.
And for me, I believe that this whole lawsuit and animosity and all that is created by the airport authority, by the way they've tried to micromanage all the goings-on on the field, by micromanaging a monopoly, by micromanaging who's going to sell fuel, who's not going to sell fuel.
As I said the first time I came on the show, they treat the airport like it's their personal property, like it's their house.
Right. And
it's a public airport. It's owned by the people.
Yeah. And
not them.
But 30 people have been showing up to the meetings.
And more sometimes.
And more. You know, and I'm almost to the point you and I talked about the other day is maybe taking a group of Tea Partiers there because it's government out of control. It's government out of control, and the Tea Party people, we are a watchdog group, and we're pretty active in this community. We're pretty active out here. We've got thousands of members. It may come that, but I haven't even discussed it.
The problem is, though, that board, they're not elected; they're self-appointed, and they know that. They know that.
Well, and
they're not accountable to the public.
That's partially true. Here's what really happens. It's like the hospital board. Well, a little different because the hospital board has another group that gives them candidates. But if anybody wants to be on the airport authority board, they need to apply to the board, and the board picks who they want. There is no outside source. There is no public involved. Board members hiring board members to be board members.
You nailed it.
So that's does that sound right to you, Edward? No. Well, I'm surprised you even have an opinion.
To me, you've went to the heart of the problem. You've went to the heart of the problem right there.
But look, I know a lot of the board members. I love them. They're great guys. I do. I mean, there's a lot of guys on that board I absolutely I think are great guys. I don't know where the strong arming's coming in to direct them and control them, and I don't know if it's coming from the airport director. I don't know. But I tell you what, it needs to be out in the light of day. It needs to be exposed.
Well, the ironic thing is the more they, flail around and sue people and get mad and all this stuff, the more it comes out.
Tuesday at 4 o'clock, there's another meeting. Tuesday at 4 o'clock, we're going to sit down and do that. I'm going to work to be there, but we need people involved in this thing. It's a small part of our community that actually does the physical business on the